Hey gang, so Friday afternoon. Yeah, so what time is it? And we're in the basement of THUY's house, well, her apartment or
house. Yeah, I guess house.
Friend's house. But what we're doing is we're training together today. And what I really want is what we're going to do is we're going to talk to THUY, and she is one of the para athletes that I'm coaching this winter, and her goal is to qualify for the Canadian Cycling NextGen Parathlete team in May. So this is pretty exciting. Coaching her, first of all, and we know each other from a couple years back when she joined my cycling club. She messaged me and said if she could join. I was like, as long as you got your bike and you can ride it, you're gonna join us for group rides, you can join. And she's on a trike. But the nice thing is that she gets to train on a trainer in the winter, and then she has a trike, a sit on top trike that she's going to race. So you might have seen a couple pictures of her and I previous when we were coaching outside, but I wanted to do this interview with her and get her full story, right? Yeah. So we're gonna be talking while on the trainer. And we're gonna get her full story on how she all the way back to her childhood with how you became injured, and her paralysis, and what drove her to cycling, and her goals, and all these things. So I just want you guys to know that anything's possible. Anything's possible, guys. So without we got to get training. We got an hour on the bike, so we thought we might as well just do this at the same time.
We will see if we can multitask.
Yeah, we can multitask.
Yes, that's you.
So this is THUY. She's going to start telling you about her story. I'm just going to get my shoes on, and I'm going to sort of get myself a little bit figured out here. And so THUY, you can get started.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put my clips on, but so when I had I had an injury, I actually was in high school at that time, and so I actually didn't know that I had some, I guess, problems with the injury. So there was a clump of veins in my brain that was abnormal. It was, and no one has it, and so what happens is, so the weakness, all the other parts of the veins doesn't get through, and so there was one time when I was 15, I had a seizure in my sleep, and then because of that, I went to the ER, and then they determined by a CT scan that there was just a massive veins that wasn't supposed to be there, and so I went to Toronto to get a couple of surgeries to correct it. So my calf, there's a big artery, and they go in through the head and then basically glue the part of the vein that's not supposed to be there. But the second time
in your brain,
like
they replaced an artery.
The massive artery in the groin, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And then they go in to the brain and then glue it.
They take it from here and put it there?
Yeah.
See what you're going to learn.
And so I was supposed to do like 3 or 4 surgeries, but the second time, I did not wake up. So eventually, they knew something was wrong, and that's how I had my stroke.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's called there's two types of stroke. Mine is wait, I can't multitask. Wait 1 second.
You want some help?
I'm okay. I get it.
I know,
it's the camera.
I
They don't see me.
It's okay.
I'm just joking. I'm just teasing. Okay. Wait 1 second.
I find those ones a little hard with the cleats, don't you?
Yeah, but it works, so
Yeah.
what you get is what you see. There you go.
Oh.
Okay. Why is this not working?
Did you just swear?
Oh! Did I?
I don't know.
Okay. There you go.
There.
Whew. It's sweating already. No, I'm just
Where were we?
Yeah,
I'm trying to reset. Okay, here.
so
Let's start for an hour.
Yeah. Talking is so because of that the second time I had a it's called okay.
Well, that's a nice trainer.
Yeah. Hemorrhagic stroke, it's called. So instead of a cough, it was a bleed. And then because of that, there was impairment. So Sylvie said semi-paralysis. It's a little bit different. So semi-paresis. So the yeah. So semi-paralysis is basically I can't use it.
Right.
But I can use it, but it's a dysfunction about it.
Oh, like on your right side.
So,
and that's where your hand comes in.
Yeah, so my brain basically doesn't know what to do with my right side. So instead, some muscles, like they're always active, and then they don't turn off.
Okay.
Or just like I want one muscle to do something, and then another muscle will do it instead of that muscle. So it has the ability, but it's just a little bit harder,
right,
to process the brain.
All right.
Oh.
Here we go. More of our heads.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make some. I'm gonna make something for the.
Well, I actually had my outside bike. It actually works. So, but
with what we put together.
Yeah, but instead of 1, 2, and then it just stays with. So when we're going uphill, it doesn't move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really good. But so because of my I was seeing my stroke, I had speech impairment too. So like before, it would be gibberish. My speech, like no one understood it. It's called aphasia.
Was that in high school? Like when all that happened?
Yeah. So 15.
Okay.
15. Yeah. And so I had a speech therapy, but I remember just going to the washroom. First word, pee. But yeah.
Yay!
So sometimes when I'm tired, my speech gets affected, and the same thing, my spasticity, which is my contraction. If I'm tired, or the weather, if it's cold, the spasticity will actually increase.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, or I'm tired.
Oh, I can see that when you're tired.
Yeah. So everything of it's like, even if I don't know, like I'm not in tune, my body will tell me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or stress, or yeah.
Right.
So it's like an it, like my half my side, I call it it. It's just like, yeah.
So how did you find cycling? Like as a passion?
Well, the thing is, I couldn't do anything like sports-wise. Even things, normal tasks like before. I was a piano player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and actually,
You still play with one hand?
yeah. So there's pieces for the left hand, but the thing is, it's melody and accompaniment together with one hand. So I was actually like one period of time when it would be probably 5 years ago. I was performing. It's called Grassroots Festival.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and they wanted me to perform, but the thing is, like, I knew everything one side.
Yeah.
So eventually, the pieces were really difficult, and I had to. I injured myself. I had tendonitis, like 3 places. You know, golf elbow, and then tennis elbow, and then it just inflamed. And so the teacher said you can't perform. If you perform, then you're gonna like injure yourself. Like
just because you've been playing so much with
yeah. So that career went south.
But do you still play a little bit?
Yeah, I think not as much. Very, very minuscule. But biking, I like it like.
Yeah, who got you into cycling?
Well, it's funny because I don't know. I think maybe the rehab. But the thing is, I went to seek the help, and it was a used bike, and then like I can't run.
Like your trike?
Yeah.
The first one you had?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so it was amazing because I can't go fast. Like I'm like the worst. And the thing is just that freedom and endorphins like outside. So my mom gave it to me, but she didn't know how much I would use it, and so it was just it's just like a snowball effect, and then sort of like I wanted some social aspect.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Oh, that's how you reached out to me?
Yeah. Well,
really?
I think it's
like
Ushaka.
Okay.
They had just a card or a pose like women's bike club.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, try it out.
Oh my gosh, that's like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's because you're 30, so that's 25.
Yeah.
Okay, so it all makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
And then so tell me, so you got your bike.
Yeah.
And how did it make you feel like when you start having more independence?
Yeah.
Like with your bike.
Yeah. So it just
and in conjunction like with your injury, like all those kind of feelings.
Well, the thing is, like, it was not expected, my injury, like a stroke, and then just because I had a lot of stuff to deal with, I had sort of my independence was sort of stripped.
Yes.
And so I think just getting out.
Right.
Like I still have depression. It's basically there. I think chronic depression. So I mean there's good days and bad days, like change in the weather that affects. But like what I like is every time I bike, the endorphins or just the good feel hormone. And the thing is, when I don't exercise in the winter, like 1 or 2 days, it goes down. Like, just because it's yucky outside. Like, and because the pandemic is more so, like me, I'm very, very outgoing. So, unfortunately, because the pandemic, it's harder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I need, like, I say tool belts, like social or exercise, like sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I sleep more in the winter than the summer.
Yeah.
So all these factors play a role in my mood, but the component is exercise. Like, I think, but it has to be high, like my heart has to work a little to get it. So biking, yeah, I love biking. Like, I miss it. It's basically like one of my boyfriends, the bike, and it won't get.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think you got a lot of guys have girlfriend bicycles.
So it's more stable. If you want a real relationship, get a bike.
Or a dog. Well, a bike could be around a lot longer. So now that you got your bike,
Yeah.
and I know that, and maybe talk a little bit about your volunteering.
Yeah.
And is there something where you can tie in the bike to helping maybe people you or places or organizations that you volunteer? Because I actually want to talk to you about that outside of this. But
there's other, like me, and it's called basically a stroke for me, but it's a classification like stroke or brain. Like, there's people in my like, I'm the coordinator for a ABI, so brain injury. I mean, acquired brain injury. And the thing is, a lot of people like me, when I was 15, my circle, like my friends, they were still in school. They had difficulty because impairment with my speech.
Yeah.
Like, it was really hard, I think, both ends.
Yeah.
Like conversating or just like the real world. So I got a lot of times lonely.
Right.
And I couldn't cope with it. So, like, if you think of ABI, like brain injury.
What's ABI?
Acquired brain injury.
Okay, acquired brain injury.
It's really important just so you have somebody that knows what you're feeling.
Right.
And there's people who can't talk or have mobile issues or sleep all the time. Like, everyone is different.
Right.
But just the commonalities which are common. So tiredness is one. Depression is really common too. Life changing, I guess, aspect, and like, no one knows depression. We know, like, how it looks like what symptoms, but we don't understand it that much.
Right.
So
yeah, because everybody has a different form, different reasons. Like different reasons why it comes on.
Yeah.
And what makes you depressed.
Yeah, maybe just the trigger, like the
different triggers.
Yeah, it's sort of like burnout.
Right.
But I noticed that the community, the brain injury community, basically probably like 90% of 90% of patients have depression.
Right.
So
sorry, go ahead.
So it can be, chemical imbalance because it is the brain. Like my teacher at school, I'm doing high school, but he's very, very sensitive. And then I told him, because before he was doing computer.
Yeah.
And then when he was young, he sucked it, and then and then he zapped himself.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, and
like
they
electrocuted himself?
Yeah, and the thing is, they say electrocution because it's basically like the brain has wires in the brain, like electrical, and so when something like a lightning or a zap, it affects the brain. So I like, sorry Mark, but because he's emotional sometimes. I had like, I think Christmas.
You're not mean to her, are you?
No!
You're so sensitive!
No, it's good. Very honest. Like, some people like this stereotypes of men. It's just like their emotions, they have to not feel it. Yeah. So it's nice, but I had a card for him.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, once he read it, he was like, oh my god, I can't see this. So like, thank you so much. But it was endearing. But it just, I mean, anyway. And so everyone, we don't know the brain that we can. And what else? Like, I have impairment like literacy, because the brain will say to the body parts or what to do, and so basically my speech was affected, so I couldn't write, I couldn't read because that area of the brain was damaged.
Right.
Holy moly!
No, I'm just trying to bring up my heart rate a little bit. It's okay. It's really easy.
Okay. But yeah, so that's why I'm in school. So because of my issues about depression and just going through stuff, when I went to high school, when I was an adolescent, it was really hard because I wasn't at that level, like I was grade 10 anymore. My math was like grade like 6, and then my literacy was like grade like kindergarten.
Yes.
So it just really stressed me out, and then I was dealing with my depression, so I dropped out, and then now I'm going to school also. So it's what is it called? Oh my, huh?
Not Algonquin.
No, it's learning, alternative learning styles.
Yeah.
And like I'm taking, well, anything to do with math or also literacy. So like right now, because Sylvie wanted me to do the micronutrients.
Yeah.
And so
Yes, you gotta look at that.
And Mark helped me because I like anything I need. Everything is based on learning, right?
Right.
So like calculating, just oh my god.
Feel like your daily intake.
Yeah. Stuff like that, and good math involved, or or like the calendar to the emotions that I'm feeling or tired, and like a writing, that's literacy too.
Right.
So anything, and then I'm taking a course. It's international fundamental business.
Oh, very good. Very smart.
Yeah, she
Very
knows. She. I don't know if you were always like that, a business, but I find you.
My dad was a farmer. If you ever know any farmers, they're always in business. Like they have multiple things on the go all the time, and I find that that's a little bit of my problem. Multiple things on the go all the time to make multiple streams of income, and sometimes it can just get out of control. But yes, the entrepreneurship has definitely been in the blood for a long time.
Yeah. So this well, the pro. I mean, also, I went to Robin Easy, which is the brain injury center. And because I wanted to learn, it's not the problem. I just didn't know the resources.
Right.
They suggested also, and it stuck with me.
For what? Oh, the international?
Oh, well, no, just the learning style.
Right.
So it's your pace. It's not like a set course, like 6 months. You're
Right.
It just your speed, and there's teachers, and just
There's lots of schools like that for kids these days. Alternative learning, like at your own pace, kind of what you want to do. I don't know for kids, but I don't like it for someone who's having issues, like not issues, but like they need something different to motivate them is good.
Yeah, and different approaches, I guess.
Yeah.
I
think like everybody can probably use different approaches for certain things on how to learn, like visual, cognitive, and so.
And exercise is good. They say that once you exercise, I don't know the time, but it's like 1 or 2 hours, and you learn. It's easier.
Yes. You're doing lots of studying after your long rides.
My teacher and me are like not teacher and student. It's more like friends, so we get mischievous, like talk more. But yeah, eventually.
Well, this is where, like, when you're, like I was saying, when you're on the bike, if you can get some of your books in audio, then you can listen to them while you're riding. And it saves time. That's what I mean. Like, you can do a whole bunch of learning. Like, you know, like people who drive all the time, like, you're learning. They say that, was it like 30 some hours if you're learning is like the equivalent to 1 university program.
Oh, wow.
So like if you're learning, listening, re-listening, you know, as many times as you need to take it in, so you don't have to like read, then you're always going to hear something different in the material. And I find that when I listen to same book over and over, so I'm like, oh, I didn't even remember hearing that part. I was like, oh, I'm a different person every time you go in. But, so now you've got cycling. How is it helping you, like, with your depression and just, like, everyday things? And now that you have this great opportunity, I'm telling you, she's like, she has no problem being motivated and goal-oriented, which is awesome. And
so I think because if you can see this area, it's basically like a mini gym. I mean, I worked up to this. Like before, I was paralyzed or didn't. I had at first, and so like every bit of what I have to the right, I had to earn it and then work at it. So
were you able to walk?
No. Oh well, before my stroke.
15? So like after your stroke when you're 15. How much different was it compared to now?
So before my accident, I was.
Oh, I know before, but like when you're 15 years old, when you're like, this just happened compared to now. How different.
It's very different. Well, my speech is better, and like I was in a wheelchair, so I didn't know how to move. Like because if you think the joint, it's just muscle that you have to support it. So even the shoulder, there was separation, like 3 centimeter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's all muscle that you have to support it.
So you didn't have any muscle, so your shoulders like
big.
dropping out?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so... and
I visualize that.
Yeah. So, and then my ribs too, because everything is muscle. So it collapsed. So my ribs would be stuck like this. So it was tilted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then
you really take like I'm just thinking like you really take for granted.
Yeah, and it's heavy. Your arm is heavy. It's like, well, you weigh like.
I guess like the boat. Yeah, sure.
Like
it's heavy.
Yeah. So even like, things like I worked at, like my pelvis shifted to my strong side. So if you think of your hip flexors,
yeah.
It was always like it couldn't drop down here, so I would feel like sort of angle, and so even dropping down was hard.
Oh.
Yeah, because the muscle it doesn't know how to move.
Right.
So it just like it took a lot. It's still and maintaining it. So if I don't do my exercises. Walking is harder,
right?
Like everything, so it's like daily. So it was always like exercise was important, mental and physically. Mm-hmm. So when I was like competitive, well, I'm doing it like I have these exercises, like I exercise like 1 or 2 hours. So why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Because and. Sometimes my motivation is lacking, like just my depression, but there's a point where, okay, do I want to feel like this? Like, do I want to just like be depressed and then mope or change?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, even though I don't know if it will help, at least try, and most times it does. So, I mean, it's all mine, like...
That's an important part. That's an important point, right? Because you have a choice every day. You have a choice to work out and get better, or sit and mope and not, and just compound what you then have to do later on.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so it's just like...
Do I get it done? Or do I, do it... Maybe never.
And you have to know your body. So if in tune. So if you're doing too much and you're overwhelmed, then you have to acknowledge maybe a break is good. So it's just
go for a walk.
Yeah,
read a book.
Walking. Yeah. What is it called? Broadcast.
Yeah. Call me.
Yeah. But it's just like you have
do a video.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, and now, like, I still have paralysis, but I mean, my mental state is really good, and then it reflects, because I can still bike, I can still do stuff, like, if I think, a half full or half empty,
right,
like, I didn't think people are struggling financially. Mm-hmm. Like, I have speech, other like worries, but the thing is, at least like the government in Canada, they have like a state book, so I have like disability, right? And so, like even though I have this, like I'm a little bit unique, like my body. Other aspect is good.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you're really unique in the point that you've made a personal decision to better yourself. Yeah. Because there's always the reverse. Yeah. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
And letting your mind
taking over.
Yeah. Let your mind take over, and then what happens? It's just a downward spiral where other things start happening. You get sicker. You're more depressed. And I think that's one of the parts of things that really drew me to THUY is when I met her in the club, is that, for attitude, for dedication to coming out cycling all the time, doing time trials, and I was just like, whatever, you want you know, like I'm never going to tell anybody no,
Yeah.
you know, and I think it's just great that she had that, you know, the courage to actually phone and say. I was like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's funny because I remember in the hospital, like taking just a lap, like a sort of like 4 walks. I was tired because my body didn't know how to do it, and just like the same thing when I was biking, like just I think it was like Maribel and Medellin, and going time trials, which was aviation park.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was exhausted. So it's not like I was a pro right away. It just,
But she came out.
yeah.
That's the thing. It's showing up. Half the time is showing up. The other half is letting your mind tell you not to show up. Like it's like, oh, maybe not today. Oh, the wind isn't blowing. It's too cold. Too hot. It's like, well, next week for sure. You know, but it's like, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it. And then you feel great for doing it.
Yeah.
And that's just one thing that I remembered from her. Even though she was with the club 1 year, and then the way we got back together is that a friend of hers sent a message to everybody on her messenger list that her trike got stolen. Oh no, you had an accident and you got crushed.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
and they were doing a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god. But you see, the thing is that I remembered how positive and how much she did in the club. Like, she was always there, showed up, went to the socials, you know, and for me, I just wanted to give back to her because she was there so much for the club. Like, you know, you just remember people and the niceness. And that's where, like, I messaged them and I said, our club can help pay the balance. And I went, I found the bike in Montreal, took her down to get it fitted, and then picked it back up. and she joined the club the year after. And it was just great because, you know, you're helping somebody who you know is going to appreciate. And that for me was like, I had no questions. And it was just awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wasn't like now, I want to compete. It wasn't like right away. I'm so used to cycling. I just like, I wanted some like other goals or and yeah.
Well, this is so this leads into the the coaching for para racing, and our goal is this May that there's a qualifier event in Montreal. So we have to start tracking your journey going in, good and bad.
Yeah.
And I'm coaching her to compete there, which is such an honor because Cycling Canada asked me to be the coach in this region to help athletes that they recruit into this program, or that could be potential athletes for them. And that's where we are right now. Training!
Yeah. Yay!
So tell me how that makes you feel, because if I would be approached by like Cycling Canada to cycle for Canada, I'd be like, but you're like, I know how much work it's going to be.
Yeah, well, it's not the work that I'm sure. Just, I don't know other athletes. Like, am I good enough? Or, like, all these things. But you can't really, like, you can't worry about that because it's like, nothing's going to go anywhere. So it's just like, you just have to up your game, like, you know, just your inner self, I guess. And so it's just like, okay, just do the things I gotta do. Don't slack off. Like, push myself, all these things, and not think about other people. It's just like, okay, what can you do?
I think that's a really good attitude because when you race, I mean, especially when you're training for your first race, you've never raced before in competitive setting like this, is just to, like, you could know nothing and show up and you have the attitude and the personality and just the air about you that you do deserve to be there, and you have put in all the work. And there's different ways I want to explain it, but you know, you just appreciate being there.
Yeah.
And you're going there for to put out everything that you train for, as much to the best of your ability that you can, and then you come back after the weekend and then we discuss race tactics. Because honestly, there's nothing that I can really do to prepare her for her type of race without, like, I could explain, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and none of that might happen. And that's what happened when I raced with the other team. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We always had a plan. It never happened because you have to be in a certain place. But the thing is that as long as you have a plan and you go in, you know the course, you train for it, you have an idea of what you're going to do. And you get the first experience, and then you're going to go, Sylvie, what did it mean when this happened? How could I be better here? And then you have a greater understanding of the race, and you're like, okay, this is what I need to train on. These are my weaknesses. My fears are here. How can I get over them? Do I need to train more, like hill stuff, sprinting, gear management, going around, whatever. Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that. It's not going around, it's going around other people because they're on tricycles.
Well, and also going left or right, you have to go slower. I know the cadence, you have to go fast, so you have
It's a different, like you go wide then in and out, so you don't take a swoop like this because you will go over.
Yeah, that's what happened a couple of times. That's why, my finger, I broke my...
Is it okay?
Yeah, the nails fall off. Have you had that?
No.
Never?
I'm trying to think of maybe my toe. No, not my finger.
Okay.
I have slammed my fingers indoors, but
apparently, my teacher, that's common because he did do running.
Oh, okay.
And I guess because your toes, what happens is it stubs your toe.
Yeah.
Like with the shoe.
You're right.
So eventually it falls off your fingernails or toenails.
Oh yeah, when they're like hitting. Yeah. I've never had that.
Okay.
Well, it's different for cycling. I'm not a runner, but I have been in races, events where we were doing lots of hiking and sand.
Yeah.
That does other things to your feet that you don't even forget about. Toenails are great. You don't want to see what it does to your feet when it's like you got sand in there, everything's rubbing. But no, that's awesome because that's mine. I'm like, as a coach, it's like my first experience too for your type of race. Right? I've seen them. I've never had anybody in there participate. Huh?
You tried it.
No, I know, but I will be in one.
Okay.
So there's fear there.
Yeah.
I won't and you can't deny it, but the thing is that you go in there as prepared as possible, as humanly racing athlete possible, and you just do what you can, and you learn from that, and you're going to be better the next time, and then the next time. So I would say, you don't beat yourself up. You do the training. We do what we need to do for a race day, and then we sit and we learn from it. But so you're excited about that?
Yeah.
You've got all these hours of training.
Yeah.
I'm kind of replicating them, sort of. I'm not getting as many hours in, but it is motivating to kind of train alongside your athletes as a coach. I know not a lot of coaches do that.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not in the winter. But, well, with that, I am certainly looking forward to this journey with you. And I'm encouraging THUY to document as much of this as she can, because when it's gone, it's gone. This journey, like the first part, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and to be an inspiration to others who, you know, maybe you're looking at this and you need to hear this, and maybe, you know, to reach out. And so how would somebody, have you seen, oh, here's a question before we finish. In your clinics or in the support clinics, have you seen other people as motivated as you? Or are you like an anomaly like this?
Yeah, it's hard because like my body, because I have spasticity, and then the level like capabilities is really odd. Typically.
But you worked really hard.
Yeah.
To get where you are now.
I mean, a lot of physio.
Yeah.
Learning, like the government does so much.
Yep.
But eventually, like my mom.
She's watching.
Like,
thank you, Mom.
Yeah, she put like physio, like private physio, like now it's a lot better because even, you know,
you did a lot of condensed.
Well, what happened is at Shield or like not private clinic, it's just okay. You're walking, and that's it.
That's it.
But the thing is, if it's not the right muscle or the walking, it's crooked, like the alignment or the spine is warped.
Right.
They don't care. They just okay. You're walking, and then that's it.
It. You're off to the next step.
Yeah, and then because it's money, right? The government has to pay for it. So my mom.
You also probably turned 18.
Yeah.
And you're like, sorry.
Yeah.
Can't say it to you anymore.
Yeah. So I did like kinesiology, and then physio, and then a lot of extra stuff.
Right.
That my mom had to pay.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, look at her now. Because, like I was saying, if there's somebody out there who's needs a motivation, oh my gosh, reach out to me, reach out to THUY, because there are things out there. I always think like everything ever happened to me where I like, you know, lost my legs or something. I would be like, what sport can I go into like right now?
to have just something.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
So with thanks for joining. We are going to continue by watching some cycling on Flow Sports. So go check that out because it's a super cool channel. And we'll see you back here. And don't forget to go to my YouTube channel where you're going to see this live. Again, it'll be on it. And it's also going to be on my podcast. It's going to be launched soon. So with that, have an amazing day, and we'll see you later.